Hello, welcome to this week's video. I'm really indebted to my friend Chris Parker for some of the techniques being shown today. It was he who showed me this wonderful tool, an electric die grinder, that I've mentioned in a previous video clip that I posted a few weeks ago now. The cut saw burr that I'm using, a 1-inch burr, coarse grit, is responsible for all of that texture. It needed a little bit of sanding, but I quite like the little lines being left in the bottom. But I'm really more interested in showing you the colouring that I used on this piece. So sealing the wood first of all, and then some lacquer going on. Now I'm using the ebonizing lacquer from Chestnut Products, but I'm also going to use the ivory lacquer, which you can see going on now. And you might think, well, why use both? Well, if you got in close to that, you'd see that the ivory lacquer I haven't completely covered all of the black with. I'm sort of combining the two of them for effect. You can see it there at the bottom of the piece. And then some colour. Now this is a little mixture I've worked on creating, a mixture of Joe Sonia gold paint and Clyster medium, which is a transparent medium, and some iridescent medium, which will make it a little bit more sparkly and shiny. But again, this is a third base coat. I'm just mixing them all up nicely and then putting it on, slapping it on, you might say, with a paintbrush. And coming in closer there, you can see that we've still got some black lacquer showing through the white lacquer, and I'm not completely obliterating the white lacquer with this paint either. Just giving it last little touches, making sure I've caught all the high points, and then on to airbrushing. So I'm putting chestnut spirit stains now on top of the lacquer. This is something I've been doing for quite a while now, a few videos. Some of you would have seen me doing this on the black. But because I've got such a heavy texture in there, which is really due to that lovely burr that I was put onto by Chris, is spraying just one side of the texture. You can see there I'm spraying at quite an acute angle, and you can see that as the piece of wood is spun round, the blue has more prominence on one side than the other. Now if I spray at an acute angle at the bottom, I'm spraying in the opposite side of the texture, so a bit of green, so you get this nice colour shift between the two colours, blue and green. For my eye, it's still a little bit soft and subtle, so I want to darken it up a little. So I'm using the dark blue now. That's certainly giving a lot more drama and making it a little moodier looking. I definitely prefer it with the dark blue on. Now it's just a case of sort of evening out that coverage, so it doesn't look like it's just in one place. Which might work for some things, but I think I needed something a little bit more unified with this one, so that everything is connected up, and rather than being isolated pockets of colour. So there were some bits that needed a bit more saturation, so here I am going around just touching up those little final areas, adding a little bit of moodiness here with a little bit of purple. But you can see how one side looks blue predominantly and one side looks green, just because of the way the light falls on it and the way the colours were added. And then to frame those cells, to give them a little bit more definition, a bit of black stain on a paper towel, and then that is spread gently over the top, just catching the top of each of those cut bits of texture. Now there are one or two places where I've overlapped them a little bit too much, and we're not getting very nice cell separation, but as a quick little experimental piece, seeing how this worked out, I wasn't too unhappy with that. Now that needs to be sealed. It'll be interesting to see how this layers of sealer and lacquer and so on stack up on each other. So I've sealed the stain in, that was with the acrylic sanding sealer, and now gloss lacquer going on. I wanted a shiny, hard, glassy surface. So cleaning out the middle, just showing you a little bit of the sanding, as I removed all those layers of paint, and my little compressor thing to blow the dust off into the extractor, and some of the shine being revealed. Just a little bit of sanding left to do on the inside, so cut and polish to take it to a finer grit and give it a wax finish. And here it is. I can see the sparkle and the shine as I twist it around in the light. Right, so I'm quite pleased with this little experiment. I definitely tried to go for something that looks a bit like ceramic or pottery on this one. It's quite hard to get a sense of it from the video, but I think you can probably see it looks a bit greener one side than the other. I've got that colour shift going on. I'll take some photos of that. The white and the black lacquer formed a background, and the colour within each of those individual cells is made up with the grooves from the coarse burr, but also white and black showing through. Normal thing of putting a little bit of black over those raised parts to sort of give the texture a little bit more definition. I am aware it's not really coming through on the video. Quite often I get those comments in the bottom about, oh, I didn't really like it till I saw the pictures at the end. And even the pictures at the end are not as good as seeing it in person. So little experimental piece, reworking an old blank that had something on it already. And well, the back's not in too bad a condition. If I decide I like it, who knows, it could even end up for sale one day. Okay, right, so that's it for this week's video. Until next time, thanks for watching.